Life, as we find it, is too hard for us. It brings us too many pains, disappointments, and impossible tasks. Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Words are capable of arousing the strongest emotions and prompting all men's actions. The behavior of a human being in sexual matters is often a prototype for the whole of his other modes of reaction in life. In the small matters, trust the mind, in the large ones, the heart. Great decisions in the realm of thought and momentous discoveries and solutions of problems are only possible to an individual working in solitude. My love is something valuable to me, which I ought not to throw away without reflection. When inspiration does not come to me, I go halfway to meet it. The more the fruits of knowledge become accessible to men, the more widespread is the decline of religious belief. The intention that man should be happy is not in the plan of creation. A woman should soften, but not weaken a man. Men are strong. So long as they represent a strong idea, they become powerless when they oppose it. Poets are masters of us ordinary men in knowledge of the mind because they drink its streams, which we have not yet made accessible to science. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. Words have a magical power. They can bring either the greatest happiness or deepest despair. Experience teaches us that the world is not a nursery. Flowers are restful to look at. They have neither emotions nor conflicts. Love in the form of longing and deprivation lowers the self-regard. Men are more moral than they think, and far more immoral than they can imagine. Just as no one can be forced into belief, so no one can be forced into unbelief. In the depths of my heart, I can't help being convinced that my dear fellow men, with a few exceptions, are worthless. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. Conservatism is too often a welcome excuse for lazy minds, loath to adapt themselves to fast-changing conditions. One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. The creative writer does the same as the child at play. He creates a world of fantasy, which he takes very seriously. Beauty has no obvious use, nor is there any clear cultural necessity for it. yet civilization could not do without it. Our memory has no guarantees at all, and yet we bow more often than is objectively justified to the compulsion to believe what it says. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. The ego is not master in its own house. Dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. He who knows how to wait need make no concessions. Dreams are often most profound when they seem the most crazy. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. The dream is the liberation of the spirit from the pressure of external nature, a detachment of the soul from the fetters of matter. You wanted to kill your father in order to be your father yourself. Now you are your father, but a dead father. A love that does not discriminate seems to me to forfeit a part of its own value by doing an injustice to its object. And secondly, not all men are worthy of love. In mourning, it is the world which has become poor and empty. In melancholia, it is the ego itself. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. From error to error, one discovers the entire truth. Where such men love, they have no desire, and where they desire, they cannot love. The virtuous man contents himself with dreaming, that which the wicked man does in actual life. Before you diagnose yourself with depression or low self-esteem, make sure that you're not surrounded by fools. Everyone owes nature a death. The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. Everyone has wishes which he would not like to tell to others, which he does not want to admit even to himself. Public self is a conditioned construct of the inner psychological self. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. We know less about the sexual life of little girls than of boys, but we need not feel ashamed of this distinction. After all, the sexual life of adult women is a dark continent for psychology.